So here's two things that really scared me, and that's the reason why I'm making this video. Number one, I read that Gen Z is incurring more debt faster than any other generation that's ever existed. Number two, I am reading that average personal debt per person, individual debt, is in excess of $90,000. Guys, these numbers are insane. So I was reading this article online, and I always love reading articles like this, basically clickbait, but it gets your hopes up. It'll say how I paid off $100,000 in debt in 1 year or 18 months. You know, the numbers always change, but it's always the same story. I'm gonna teach you how to pay off this ridiculous amount of debt in almost no time whatsoever without hurting you or without you putting in much effort at all. And then you click on this article, and this article says, well, so what I did to pay this debt off is I took a portion of my $135,000 a year salary, and I used it to pay down my credit card debt in this fashion. And then my husband, he makes $135,000 a year too. There's the problem with articles like that, is that these people are making money. These people are rich. They shouldn't even be in debt because they make enough money to stay out of it. And who clicks on articles like that? People like me and you. People only making 20, 30, if we're lucky, 40 grand a year. We don't make that kind of money. These people writing these articles are making 3 times the amount that we are, telling us how we can get out of debt when we can't even put money in a savings account. So here's two things that really scared me, and that's the reason why I'm making this video. Number one, I read that Gen Z is incurring more debt faster than any other generation that's ever existed. Number two, I am reading that average personal debt per person, individual debt, is in excess of $90,000. Guys, these numbers are insane. It's scary. It's really scary. But these numbers tell a bigger story than I can explain. Numbers like this are the reasons why generations after mine are going to struggle to ever find financial freedom and, in essence, some form of happiness with their career and their life choices as far as careers go. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that if you have that much money going out every month, if you're that deep in debt, you can never get ahead. You're lucky if you ever get caught up. You know, a trend that's going like this, usually what happens is people will start taking out personal loans to pay off the credit card debt that they cannot afford to pay off. So you're consolidating, making it a little bit easier, but the debt's not going away. You're just opening a new debt account with a new interest rate. That's not catching up. You know, that's sitting on debt that you can't get rid of. And when you do that, you're basically a slave to our economical system. You are stuck in a rut, forced to work, 40, 50, 60 hours a week, get 2 full-time jobs just so you can afford to pay what's going out. That is a terrible way to start your life off. That is a horrible way to start off, because then you have no choices. Your options are just so limited to what you can do, because the only thing you can do is find a job that will pay you enough so you can barely survive. Look, I can't tell you what to do with your money. I can't tell you to invest in this or invest in that, get this job, get that job. That's not what I'm trying to do. And please listen, if you're Gen Z, please listen. Yes, I'm a millennial. I know there's a separation between our generations, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. I'm so sick of hearing that crap. I've been in the same boat that you've been in. You've got it even worse than I do. Millennials have it not as bad as Gen Z. It seems like it's just getting worse and worse as every generation goes along. So please, hear something that I'm saying. I know it's tough, but don't go out and go into debt. Don't go into massive debt. There's some things you cannot just afford by saving up money. You're not gonna be able to afford your first home by going in there and paying cash. You're probably not gonna be able to go get, a car that's gonna last you, but you don't have to spend so much money on a car that you have a $400 or $500 a month payment, which is the average car payment across America right now is $400, $500, $600. Just depends on which study you look at, but bottom line, just right in that $400 to $500 a month range, not including insurance and everything else that comes along with having that car. That's just your flat out car payment, and that's absurd. That is absolute absurdity. I am learning that I should have been way more frugal early on. I've always had a car payment, aside from like a couple of months in my 20s. I've had a car payment since I was 19 years old. I've always had a car payment. And I kept that car payment down so I could have spending money. I didn't go out and buy, a $40,000 car. Everything I bought was used. I didn't buy my first new car until I was in my 30s. But I've always kept my payments, like $250 or under. But you know what? That's still $250 a month that was going out. And, along with insurance, yada, yada. But look, right now, I don't have a car payment. And I haven't had a car payment for almost a year. And that weight off my back and that extra amount of money that I get to keep from my paychecks coming in is really important, because that's money that I can now save or use in some other form to improve my life. You got to keep those expenses down. You got to keep the debt down. If you start off on the wrong foot and you end up with so much debt that it's coming out of your ears, you're always going to be a slave to our system, our economical system. Not having so much money going out every month to pay for your debt and being able to hang on to that money allows you to create a nest egg. It allows you to invest it in different ways that will help you in the future. It allows you to have any extra money, period. But if you can keep your expenses down, at least to start while you're still young, what that gives you the option to do is, for example, if a job is not working out for you, if you have a boss rubbing you the wrong way, if you don't like where you're at, if it's making you miserable and unhappy, you were able to save money while you were working there. So you can look at your boss and tell him to go fuck himself. You quit. You have that freedom. You're not tied down and forced to stay there, to pay for, all this money, basically just breaking even every month for all the debt that you've incurred. That alone, because I've been there. I fortunately got to a point in my life where I was able to have that attitude when I walked into work. And you know what? It felt really good knowing that I didn't have to be there. I didn't have to stay there. I could pick something else if I wanted to. I could step away from work for a while. And that made me happier. It didn't make things worse at work. It didn't make me an attitude-y, person. It didn't make me, want to lash out. That's kind of like, that's like the narrative that they would portray, for somebody who has that type of freedom. Oh, well, they're just going to be, a horrible person to work for you now because, they have freedom. No, it made me happier and more comfortable with my position in life. Therefore, it made me a better person to be around. It's amazing what that weight off your shoulders can do for you, even like your work performance when you do have a job. Look, you don't have to spend tons of money and go into debt early on and screw up the rest of your life to be happy. Money is not happiness, but if you don't have it, then it can make you really miserable. I hope that anything that I've said in this video stuck. I kind of just went off on a rant. I felt the need to go on a rant because of some of the things I've been reading, and then I came across another one of those articles that I discussed in the beginning of the video that just sent me over the edge. I hate reading stuff like that. Oh, well, here's how I paid all this debt off. I make a lot of money. Please, please, please don't start your life out with debt. You don't have to live like a poor person, but don't start yourself off negative. Not in a country or a world where so much emphasis is placed on the ability to survive and its association with money. See you in the next video. Stay debt free. Please, for the love of God, stay debt free.